is what we're projecting today. On behalf of our chief host, we'd like to kindly and warmly welcome you to the convening. Before we proceed, kindly permit us to go through our order protocol and then formally welcome all our distinguished guests. You're most welcome. We'd like to recognize and specially welcome the First Lady of Nigeria in the person of Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, ably represented by the Second Lady and also the wife of the Vice President of Nigeria, Her Excellency Hajia Nana Kashim Shettima. A round of applause for her, please. We'd also like to recognize the presence of the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Mohammed B.S. Jallow. A round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Now, this event is being streamed live, so it's hybrid. Some of our guests will be joining us in the course of the conference. However, I would like to just recognize very warmly all those who are joining us physically present and those who are watching and with us virtually. We'd also like to recognize the former President of the Republic of Mauritius, Her Excellency Amina Gurib Fakim. We'd also like to recognize the former President of the Republic of Kosovo, Her Excellency Atifete Jajaga. We'd also like to recognize the presence of the former Vice President of Liberia, Her Excellency Jill Taylor. Please also make very welcome member of the Georgia House of Representatives, United States of America, Representative Kim Schofield. We'd also like to recognize the presence of the First Lady of Kwara State, founder Ajike People Support Center, Chairperson Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum, Her Excellency Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdul Razak. Also, would like to recognize the Lord Mayor of Entebbe Municipality, the Republic of Uganda, Lord Fabrice Rulinda. In the course of the event, we would be recognizing our speakers, our special guests here present. But please, at this point, I'd like to very specially recognize our chief hosts for the next 2 days' deliberations and the people whom have carried the vision of Elevate Africa. And today we witness the birthing of a new and great thing. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's make very welcome and recognize our chief hosts, His Royal Majesty, the Olu of Warri, Ogiame Atuwashe III. Also, Her Royal Majesty, Queen Consort, Warri Kingdom, Olori Atuwashe III. Today, we are delighted and honored to serve as your hosts for Elevate Africa as the convening. My name is Ayo Mairo Ese, broadcaster at Arise News. And with me?
I am Ben 200, half human, half amazing. It's an honor to be working with her today.
Brilliant. Now, beyond our very special guests, like I mentioned in the course of the event, we will be recognizing and honoring our very special guests. We have very high-level senior executives, our partners, funders, people who've worked with us on this journey, whom we'll be recognizing shortly. However, before then, I'd like to say a big welcome to you in the African way. The beauty of Africa is the diversity of our language and tongues, and it would be remiss of us to not acknowledge that very distinct feature that we're so proud of as a people. And so I'm going to say in the different languages we can accommodate from Nigeria and some parts of Africa. And at the end of it, we'd like to ask everyone as well to please, in your language, celebrate someone beside you by saying welcome in your local language. I'm going to start with, oh, no, we're getting there very quickly. I know we're anxious. Well, let me set the tone. First of all, I'm going to start with the Shekiri language. Erubo Kabo, or Wado, as some people say. In the Yoruba language in Nigeria, we say Ekabo. You can repeat after me, something new to learn as well. Ekabo. Thank you. In Hausa, the part where we're in, it's Maraba or Sanu. Please help me tell your neighbor Sanu. In the Igbo language, we say no. You're welcome. Thank you so much. In French, which some parts of Africa speak, we say bienvenue. And in the Swahili language, we say karibu. And for the tree language, for the Ghanaians in the house, we say akwaba. I knew you'd like that one. And then, of course, I'd like to just open it in. I try to look for a universal Pidgin way of saying welcome. But Pidgin is so dynamic. It can be how far now, how you day, welcome, nado. So please help me say to your neighbor, to the person to your left and your right hand side, you're most welcome. And if you can't say it in your language, that would be even more beautiful and special. I just made a connection right there. He said it's Isoko. My husband is Isoko, so I greeted him very quickly. They were. Redo. Nice. Thank you so much.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is a convening. And honorably so, I was MC for one of such convening where we were trying to look for an English language that will work for Africa, either the American English or the British English. After 3 days, it was difficult to pick one. Because, for instance, in Britain, they'll say extreme. In America, they'll say end. And here we'll say extreme end. In Britain, they'll say knicker. In America, they'll say short. And here we'll say short knicker. In Britain, they'll say salon. In America, they'll say barber shop. But here we'll say barbing salon. In Britain, they'll say bend. In America, they'll say corner. But here we'll say bending corner. In Britain, they'll say so. In America, they'll say therefore. But here we'll say so therefore. In Britain, they'll say still. In America, they'll say yet. But here we'll say still. In Britain, they'll say should. In America, they'll say in case. But here we'll say. In Britain, they'll say return. In America, they'll say turn back. In Britain, they'll say reverse. In America, they'll say turn back. But here we'll say reverse back. In Britain, they'll say henceforth. In America, they'll say from now on. But here we'll say from now henceforth. In Britain, they'll say tell me the reason. In America, they'll say tell me why. But here we'll say. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we are gathered to unleash potential and to redefine our future together. Today we stand at a pivotal point inspired by unwavering vision of the revered throne of Warri. The combined force of the Atuashe and his Olori have pulled us all here together for this transformative event. Your Excellencies, in the heart of our ancestral lands, where drums echo stones and songs of old, we are gathered under the watchful gaze of our ancestors. With wisdom of the elders guiding us, we come adorned in rich fabrics of tradition, vibrant like the colors of our collective heritage. Distinguished guests, throughout the turning of history, remarkable Pan-African leaders have bravely attempted to refine our continent and to carve out a bright path for us. Their effort reminds us of our journey towards unity and progress, and is both challenging and rewarding. So, distinguished guests, today's gathering is not also special, but is commendable as a continuation of their legacy. So we are not here only to honor their contributions, but we are here also to build a practical blueprint guided by royalty that speaks to our shared aspirations. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot greet loyalty sitting down. And therefore, it is important to say that as we arise with purpose, equipped with a new set of clarity and change leaders, it is important to understand and state that as we arise, let the spirit of unity flow through us like the Niger River, nurturing our dreams and aspirations. Chinua Achebe once said that unless the lion learns to ride, every story told will favor the hunter. So today we are gathered to listen to great droids, for they remind us that when the lions work together, they bring down the fiercest of praise. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered as warriors. We are here to celebrate the newness of life. As warriors draped in armor of hope, each of us treads woven into the rich fabric of Africa. At the end of this convening, Savannah, casting light over innovation and collaboration. Together, we shall cultivate the fertile lands of our dreams with clarity in our hearts, determinations in our steps. We shall listen to echoes of our past as they let us and guide us towards a united future. Strong, vibrant as the baobab, standing tall amidst storms. Together we have seen it. Together we shall continue to see it. Together we will create it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Elevate Africa.
Thank you so very much, Ben. Now, before we bring up our first speaker to give us the opening remarks this morning, permit me to recognize further, all the way from Uganda, His Royal Majesty Umukama of Toro Kingdom, Oyo-Enyimba Kabamba Iguru Rukidi IV. A round of applause, please. We also have with us the Honorable Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Minister for Youth, Dr. Jamila Bio Ibrahim. Very welcome. Also present here, seated across the room, we have our distinguished speakers, panelists, moderators, whom at some point would be introducing in the course of the convening. A round of applause, please, for them. And very quickly, to give us the welcome remarks, I'd like to invite on stage the co-founder, ACE Analytics, in the person of Daniel Ikwenobe. Now, just before Daniel comes on stage, earlier today you had heard the beautiful sounds of the Royal Iwere Choir. Together with the performance, they will be opening up, and then following that, Daniel will come on stage with his remarks. A round of applause for them as we have the opening ceremony.
It is with immense pride and purpose that I welcome you to Elevate Africa convening. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter in Africa's story. We are here not just as participants, but as architects of a bold vision. A vision to elevate Africa in leadership, culture, trade, innovation, and positive narratives. We are inspired by the extraordinary leadership of His Royal Majesty Ogiame Atuwashe III, the Olu of Warri Kingdom, and Her Royal Majesty Olori Atuwashe III, the Queen Consort. Their unwavering belief in Africa's future and their generous commitment have brought us here. They understand, as we do, that Africa's best days are ahead, and it is up to us to seize the moment. Elevate Africa is not just a movement, it is a call to action. We are here to elevate how Africans see themselves and how the world perceives us as a people. The challenges before us require bold leadership, new narratives, and purposeful collaboration. Africa's time is now. We are here to elevate African leadership. Far too long, our leadership has been defined by others. Today, we define it for ourselves. Our leaders are capable, visionary, and connected to their people. We are here to show that African leadership is rising, leading the way in unity, integrity, and progress. We're here to elevate African culture. Africa's rich heritage, vibrant language, and creativity will shape the global narrative. We are reclaiming our stories not as a continent in need, but as a continent of power, resilience, and innovation. We are here to elevate African trade and finance. Africa is home to the fastest growing economies. With the African Continental Free Trade Agreement or Free Trade Area, we present a market of 1.4 billion people ready to transform the global economy. Africa is not just a participant in trade, we are a driver of global commerce. We are here to elevate African infrastructure. Our roads, ports, and digital networks are the lifeblood of our future growth. Through partnerships, we will build the infrastructure that connects us to each other and the world. We are here to elevate African narratives. Today, we reclaim our story, a story of strength, of vision, and leadership. The world will see Africa not through struggle, but through triumph. But most importantly, we are here to elevate the reality of African leadership. The world needs leadership that unites, not divides, that solves problems, not creates them. The global challenges we face today, from conflict to climate change, demand leadership rooted in values, and that is what Elevate Africa is all about. Values-driven leadership, united for peace, security, and progress. At the core of Elevate Africa are three pillars. The first is the convening, the annual gathering where we forge meaningful collaboration and set the agenda for Africa's future. This is more than a discussion. It is a launchpad for transformation. The second in the pillar is the fellowship, which develops young, middle career, and senior leaders across Africa to drive change in areas like leadership, trade, and culture. These fellows will create positive narratives and shape the continent's future. The third is the think tank. A custodian of thought leadership will capture and drive ideas we generate. This is where Africa's solutions are turned into actions and policies that shape the world. Today, I call on all of you, join us, be part of this movement to elevate Africa. Let's build an Africa where our leadership sets the global standards, where our culture inspires, and where our economies thrive. The future belongs to us, and together we will elevate Africa from worry to the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that speech deserves a loud round of applause. Thank you so much for that charge. As a welcome remark this morning, Daniel Oyo-Ekòró, for just charging us up this morning and setting the tone for what we're here for this morning, and also introducing or perhaps explaining a bit further what Elevate Africa hopes to do. He talked about it not just being a movement, but a call to action, and also that it's time for Africa. It's Africa's time. Can we echo that, please? It's Africa's time. Absolutely. It was the president of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, in 2013, who said, Africa's story has been written by others. We need to own our problems and solutions and write our stories. And that's what we're doing at Elevate Africa. Before I bring up the next item on the agenda this morning, please permit me to recognize a few more people in the room. We're very delighted to be able to host such eminent personalities, and honor must be given to whom honor is due. That's how we do it in Africa. Celebration and, of course, honor. With the second lady, her entourage, she's come with a distinguished entourage of women in whom in their own right are distinguished. And please, let's welcome very warmly the wife of the Minister of Steel, Hajia Kautume Megiri. Please, let's clap louder so they'll come next year. Thank you. Also, we have the wife of the Minister of Environment, Hajia Abbas Lawan. Thank you. We also have the wife of the Minister of Special Duties, Mrs. Florence Gisalo. Also present here is the wife of the former governor of Bayelsa State and immediate past Minister of Petroleum here in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency Mrs. Timipre Silva. We're also honored to have with us the presence of His Eminence, Alhaji Mohammed Sayed Abubakar, CFR, MNI, the Sultan of Sokoto, hereby represented by Professor Ahmed Tijani Mora, OON, MNI. We also have our very distinguished chiefs from the Warri Kingdom. Please, can we recognize them and celebrate them this morning? Thank you very much, sirs. On that note, at this point, I'd like to kindly ask that you turn your attention to the screen. We have a very short documentary for you as we proceed with today's program.
Warri is not just a location on the map. It is a mindset, a way of being that defies boundaries and challenges limitations. It is where elegance meets vision, where resilience is born from dignity, and where individual carries the legacy of a proud people. Warri is a movement, a collective spirit that moves mountains with the force of unity and grace. It is a sound that resonates with joy, echoing the strength and vibrancy of a community that knows its worth. Warri is where history dances with the future, where every heartbeat tells a story of triumph and transformation. It is a beacon of hope, a testament to what can be achieved when elegance, vision, and dignity walk hand in hand. Warri is not just where you come from. It is who you are, who you can become. And that, above all, Warri is our pride.
He would go on with the analogy of the elephant. It's not domesticated. At the same time, it's not exactly wild. People would think jungle. People would think excitement, adventure. But it holds its own. The elephant, it defends its own. It's very caring. Does not forget long memory. The way Africa, I believe, has endured a lot. But still, elephants are not bound by that long memory that they have absorbed. They are still optimistic in their outlook. They persevere, they keep going, they survive, they thrive, actually. Not afraid to even go back and revisit harsh land when situations and circumstances force them to do so. But still, it keeps coming full circle. Keeps coming full circle, despite all the culture, harsh environments, the wild animals, human activity. They keep coming back full circle. That also sticks out when I hear your question. I mean, it may not directly answer, but I'm just throwing it out as I receive it.
The Africa we see is a golden tapestry of trust and resilience, where distinct tribes unite with unwavering strength, weaving a legacy of faith, brotherhood, and endless possibility. The Africa we see. The Africa we see isn't coming. It's not in the future. It's not far off. It's here. It's now. It's uncompromising, unbending, unyielding. It isn't just about hope. It's about action. It's about riding the wave of what's already happening beneath the surface, where roots of resilience run deep and innovation rises from the soil. Long before we wrote our histories, we spoke them. From the griots in Mali who carry the wisdom of kings, to the elders in Namibia who keep the traditions alive, storytelling isn't just something we do, it's who we are. In every market in Lagos, every village in Uganda, and every city in Morocco, our stories travel faster than any news. This is how we stay connected, from the mountains of Ethiopia to the forests of the Congo, one continent, a million voices, one story. But let's not kid ourselves. Our story is still being written. The Africa we see, it's only just getting started. And this time, we're the authors of our own narrative.
And this time, we are the authors of our own narratives. This is Africa. And as we've said again and again, and perhaps we'll echo this throughout the 2 days of this summit, of this convening, the Africa we see, it's time for Africa. Now, just before we ring up the next speaker, earlier on I'd recognized two very distinguished monarchs, and in our culture, in the way that we do things, if not just on the African continent, but at least in Warri Kingdom. We are very elaborate in our celebration. I'm sure a lot of people who walked through the doors this morning felt really appreciated by the grand welcome they received on coming here. True or false? Okay, I know this is a convening, and I know that we are very, very serious, and we just can't wait to get into the conversations. So many things happening to us in Africa. We need solutions right now, so let's get to business. In a moment, we'll get to that. But please help me tell somebody, relax. You know, the beautiful thing about the Warri Kingdom is a mix of seriousness, and also when you enter the pidgin aspect of things, then you relax, but you still get work done. So in that way, the reason I had to really get you to relax, because the next thing I'd like us to do is that I'd like us to really, really celebrate the kings, the monarchs who've traveled from very far to come here to Nigeria. We want to leave them with an impression of what a Nigerian welcome feels like. This is the city of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, the seat of power, the epicenter of this great nation. And more than ever, we want them to feel like they have come to Nigeria, a catalyst, pace setter when we talk about the development and the Africa that we see. So can you join me, please? I will mention their names again, and please, from very, very far, traveled mountains, crossed seas, and come really, really far. Please, once again, with an African Nigerian welcome. Let's make very welcome His Royal Majesty, Omukama of Toro Kingdom. You know how we do it in Nigeria, and say, hey, as I'm saying it, I'm hailing the person. This room is too quiet for this kind of celebration. So as I'm saying it, if you can agree with me on that one, please help me hail and clap and celebrate so that he truly knows that he's very welcome here in Nigeria. Once again, Toro Kingdom. Oyo-Ekòró Kabam Iguru. Rukiji the Fourth. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's make him feel very welcome. Your Royal Majesty, sir, thank you so much for coming. We do not take it for granted. We honor you, we celebrate you, and we are thankful that you could come. This is a critical conversation, and we need all key stakeholders on board to be able to really discuss. And then, of course, even though he's right here in Nigeria, but we know how big the expanse of this land is. And so even when you're traveling, especially in a city like this, where sometimes traffic can make a 30-minute journey be as far as maybe an hour. But that's what we're talking about today. We'll fix transport and traffic by God's grace. But please let's make very welcome one more time, representing His Eminence Alhaji Muhammad Syed Abubakar, CFR, MNI, the Sultan of Sokoto, Professor Ahmed Tijani Mora, OON, MNI. If you know how to make a noise, please make us woo! Thank you so much, sir. We honor you. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the next person I'm about to bring up is very important. Brings to bear my experience in Warri, teaching before Christmas at Iyara in a primary school. We wanted the children to understand Christmas. So we told the little child, why did Jesus die? The worried child just looked at me and said, 9 times rich. I asked the child, I said, what would you love to become in future? He said, I would love to become a pharmacist. He said, why do you want to be a pharmacist? He said, I love farming. Warri is a wonderful place. And I had my teeth cut in Urobo College. So I learned a lot back there working. But distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the person I'm about to bring up is royalty, who endears targeting women and children, including captains of industry. Her story is told around the era and other communities that she visits, not wondering, not counting her toes as royalty. But ladies and gentlemen, she's compassionate and dedicated advocate for women and children. With a regal presence, she embodies grace and strength and tirelessly championing social causes. Her visionary leadership shines through her initiatives, one, especially the one dedicated to her dad. But for us, it is our work with people that is more importantly. The fact that she comes to you not as royalty, but as a human being is something many other monarchs and their wives need to learn. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome the radiant Queen of Warri, whose grace and compassion illuminates the lives of those around her, a tireless advocate for women and children, and she leads the wisdom and fierce commitment for social justice. Please put your hands together for Her Royal Majesty Olori Ivie Atuwashe III. Please put your hands together properly.
Wow, what a welcome. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Before I begin, please permit me to recognize and appreciate the presence of our dear First Lady of the Republic of Nigeria, hereby represented by the Second Lady and the wife of the Vice President, Haja Nana Shatima. Thank you so much, Ma. It is an honor to have you here with us. I'd also like to recognize the presence of the Vice President of Gambia, His Excellency Mohammed B.S. Jallow, represented by the High Commissioner of the Gambia to Nigeria. We welcome you. I'd like to recognize our royal fathers, and permit me if I'm going to be a little bit biased on this one. His Majesty Ogiame Atuwashe III, CFR. God bless you. I'd like to recognize His Majesty Rukidi IV of the Toro Kingdom in Uganda. We welcome you. It's been a pleasure hosting you over the last few days, and we're very sure that ties with our kingdoms will foster much, much growth and development for all of us. I'd like to recognize the presence of the former president of Kosovo, the first ever female president, a dear friend, Her Excellency Atifete Yehaga. Lovely to see you, Ma. Welcome. I'd like to recognize the presence of the First Lady of Kwara State, Her Excellency Ambassador Olufolake Abdul-Razak. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here. Members of the National Assembly here present, I'd like to recognize the Honorable Minister. I call her my super minister, the Minister of Youth, Honorable Jamila Bio Ibrahim. Lovely to see you. Welcome. Welcome. Ambassadors, members of the diplomatic corps here present. I'd also especially like to give a warm welcome to our distinguished speakers. I could go on and on and on because we have an array of such notable figures that have come to celebrate with us here today. But I want to especially mention the Lord Mayor of Entebbe, Lord Fabrice Rulinda, a dear friend. We welcome you. I'd also like to give special welcome to Kim Schofield, a member of the Georgia House of Representatives. We welcome you. They've flown from around Nigeria, they've flown from around Africa and the world to witness this momentous occasion. I think we can give them a better round of applause. Thank you so much. And to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, who have come to elevate how the world sees our continent, please give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for believing in a brighter and bigger Africa. Now, you know that moment when you hear a particular accent in a movie and your brain instantly switches to, here comes the villain. Or when they mention an African country and you brace yourself, knowing that the narrative that they're about to push is not a very good one. You see, His Majesty is quite the storyteller, and every time we watch movies, he's able to predict the end right from the beginning. And that's the power of storytelling. Now, I want to flip the script. Think about the city that pops to mind when I say romance, or countries that you associate with first-rate education or excellent healthcare. We all have clear mental images, don't we? Yeah. Now, certain industries in certain countries, through the power of storytelling, have repeatedly painted vivid pictures in our minds. And the byproduct of those stories, they're shaping our subconscious perception of the countries and their citizens. People flock to the latter countries that I described, spending millions of their hard-earned money, sending their children to school for education, or paying an arm and a leg for healthcare, or even just going to experience what they've imagined and seen through stories in these other countries. But on the other hand, we try to avoid the first set of countries that I mentioned earlier. That's why sometimes it's frustrating to see the same tired narratives about Africa being recycled in our media, as if we're nothing more than our challenges, as if we lack the creativity and the skills to propel our own continent forward. Yes, we have issues, but show me a continent that doesn't. We are more than our issues. For decades, the world has turned to certain types of development agencies to predict and chart the course of Africa, and to the Western media, who aren't even based here, to define who and what Africa is. But they barely scratch the surface, you can't blame them, of what truly Africa is. However, their narratives perpetually infiltrate our very sense of self, both at home and abroad. When you work so closely with everyday people like I do at a community level, you come to see the pure gold in our people. Our people are resilient. Can we please give a hand to ourselves? Our people are innovative. Our people are joyful. Our people are light. And this is the Africa that we see. Our people are light. Some of that light is already shining brightly on the world stage. We just came back from London and a few cities abroad, and throughout every city, I would guarantee you that I can hear Afro beats jamming through the shops and the restaurants. Everybody's nodding their head. So some of the light is already shining brightly, but yet there is more light to be uncovered, waiting to be uncovered on the continent right here, right now. We have brilliant minds and incredible stories that are yearning for someone to take a chance on them. And this is where Elevate Africa comes in. Now, I want to address the proverbial elephant in the room. I know most of you will say, why Elevate Africa? Why not elevate Nigeria? You see, with the surge of globalization and the world becoming more and more a global village, the traditional ideology of nationhood does not quite serve us when it comes to development anymore. It's becoming less and less pragmatic for one nation to say they want to grow and develop by themselves. Nations need nations to thrive. We see this because China, for example, is depending on raw materials from the Democratic Republic of Congo to make their economies work. And so is Switzerland, depending on raw materials from Ivory Coast to make sure that they sell those nice chocolate bars we buy at the airport every time. Nations need nations to thrive. One nation cannot thrive alone. Elevate Africa is Pan-African because history has shown us that our divisions are our downfall. Nigeria is the first chapter, and I say this biasly, in Africa's book, but to limit this project to one nation is to limit our horizons. We want to elevate not a country, but we want to elevate a people. We want to elevate a people not bound by the commonwealth of their problems. We want to elevate a people that are bound by potential and are bound by their shared destinies. And so in Elevate Africa, we want to crowdsource ideas. We want to fund solutions. We want to showcase Africa's brilliance to the world. For years, we've been itching to do something to change the narrative about Africa, but we didn't just wait around. We started right in our communities and we scaled up. And the moments where we find hidden gems, like the 24-year-old visually impaired Peace Ogenetejiro, a tech innovator who came up with a tech solution to help blind people read ebooks. Those moments are electric, and they don't only change the lives of those directly affected by them, they change the lives of the communities around them. And so through the work we do, it became more obvious that we needed and we still need dedicated homegrown spaces across Africa and its diaspora to incubate ideas, to prefer solutions to our regional shared problems, and to tell our stories. We need to tell our stories, not just the stories of African outliers and unicorns, but everyday innovators like Peace Ogenetejiro making a difference. Elevate Africa, like you've heard being said on this stage already, it's not a mission. No, it's not a movement. That's too whimsical. Elevate Africa is a mandate. It is a call to action to do exactly that, to elevate Africa. It is time for us to elevate our solutions and begin to reclaim our narratives and our stories. It is time for Africans to show the world just how innovative and how unstoppable we are, not in America, but here in Africa. Our organizations, like Daniel said, stands on 3 transformative pillars: our convenings, our fellowships, and the media. All 3 will work together to promote African solutions to African problems. Our convenings, such as this, will gather the brightest minds from across the continent and its diaspora: government leaders, CEOs, community builders, tech innovators, social change makers. And please understand that we are not chasing titles, we are chasing impact, right? And so we want leaders that are making impact in their various spheres, because our focus is not only on great ideas, but on greater actions. So this isn't just another dialogue that's happening here today. Our convening is a breeding ground for solutions. From our convenings, we will funnel these ideas into actions through our fellowship, which will be launched here today as well. In our fellowship, we seek to nurture minds who understand Africa's unique challenges and have the skill set to address them. For too long, the world has relied on foreign agencies to speak for us. We need our own institutions producing impactful work through research in books and documentaries, advocating for our change where it matters. Through our fellowships, we are incubating and we're here to do our part in making it a reality. To be clear, we're not here to compete with any established organizations. No, we're here to collaborate and we're here to amplify the work that is already being done within Africa. Africa is a giant waiting to be awakened. Imagine what could happen in your sector, in any industry, when we all here tap into and invest ourselves in the brilliance that is already here. Think about the richness of Africans' minds. Think about the innovations to be harnessed. Think about the potentials to be actualized. We have so much to offer. that will solve our issues in education, in gender equality, economic growth, and decent work, and climate action. Our job is just to create the right conditions to make it happen by telling the right stories. Because when people begin to see what is possible through hearing it, they begin to understand, and it triggers a reaction. You've heard it say that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, then it will take all of us in this room and beyond to raise our continent to her destined greatness. I invite you all today to join us as we invest in African ideas, as we invest in African solutions, and as we invest in African stories. Together, unstoppably, we will create the Africa we see. We will build Africa into who she was always meant to be, a giant among the League of Nations. God bless the Warri Kingdom. God bless Nigeria. And God bless Africa. Thank you all so much for listening to me.
I'm sure you'd agree with me that that deserves a standing ovation. What a speech. What a charge. What a reminder of who we are. The greatness of the people of Africa. Africa rising. Thank you so much. Thank you. How are Your Majesty, Olori Atuwashe III, the Queen Consort of Warri Kingdom? I don't know about you, but I mean, it happens usually when she speaks. But in particularly today, it was like fire shot up in my bones and a pride reignited to be African. So proud to be African, and particularly African at a time like this. We all have the opportunity to change the course and the destiny of this great continent. And we all have a responsibility to do so as well. And so that's why today and tomorrow, it's a breeding ground for solutions. Honestly, my voice is emotional because I feel that was so emotive in terms of the words that she spoke and the reality and the truth in every single sentence. 4 words or 4 things, and I'll bring up our next speaker for the goodwill message. Resilient people, innovative people, and I thought very important, the third one, a joyful people. Despite everything that's happened to us, we're still regarded as some of the happiest people in the world. That's something to celebrate. And of course, the people of light. We are no longer the dark continent. We are the continent of light. And so thank you so very much, Your Royal Majesty, for that powerful, brilliant charge. And thank you so much for setting the ball rolling with Elevate Africa. On that note, we have a few of our distinguished guests today whom would like to speak or hear them speak as they'll be speaking to us in the next few minutes, bringing us goodwill messages. First on that list, you've heard how far she's traveled. A member of the Georgia House of Representatives in the United States of America, Representative Kim Schofield. Please, can we make her feel very welcome as she comes on stage? Thank you. Don't forget, we're a joyful people. Can we joyfully welcome her on stage? Thank you.
Ona, good morning. Otutu Ama. From Georgia, we say, what's up, y'all? Distinguished guests, leaders, and visionary. Thank you, Her Excellency. That speech, I almost want to give you my notes because that was everything and more. I am Representative Kim Schofield from the great state of Georgia. It's an honor and a privilege to stand before you today as we elevate Africa's transformative vision, the Africa we see, a vision that transcends borders, bridges the divide, forges relationships, and unlocks the boundless potential that resides within the heart of this great continent. Elevate Africa is not just a platform. It's an active movement. a commitment to fostering deep relationships, connections, empowering solutions, and rewriting the narrative of Africa as a global leader in innovation, resilience, humanity, and unity. We see Africa not just as a continent, but as a force, a collective power that shapes nations, cultures, and individuals. We're poised to take and shape the future of the world through the media and beyond. They will see Africa. At the core of Elevate Africa's mandate, had to change that word, is the recognition that Africa's greatest asset is its people. The wealth of knowledge, trends, traditions, experiences, history, and innovations that exists will and must be celebrated, nurtured, and shared. When? Now. And today, you are here because we've convened together. We've brought the best of both worlds. Global leaders, national leaders, tomorrow's leaders, today's leaders, collective thinkers are in this room. And you and I both know that true transformation lies in the multi-level knowledge of transfer of power and exchange of relationships. It's not just about what you learn or hear, but what you will share and how you will implement and take action. Let me be clear. This is where the magic will happen. When we come together and share our experiences, exchange best practices, and align our efforts toward this common goal, we just don't create partnerships. We build a future. Many are called and few are chosen. Look around you. You're the chosen ones. Today, you are both called and chosen. Through strategic partnerships, Elevate Africa is helping to amplify the voices of those who are often unheard, misunderstood, or have been silenced. We're not just facilitating dialogues just to hear ourselves. Where I come from, Kim stands for Keep It Moving. So I came all this way because there's an action, a call to do it right now. And we are building bridges and collaborations across sectors, not only for just solving problems, but lasting solutions. And it's the strength in the African communities which we stand upon. So whether it's in business, trade, economics, renewable energy, education, film, or the arts, we know that Africa's today will be shaped by its people and the lessons we learn from each other. Let us be committed to empowering Africa through our shared experiences and reflect on the unique challenges. A challenge is just an opportunity to do it a different way. And let's foster our approach with dignity, ownership, and accountability. Let's leave our egos at the door. Africa is telling a new story, one that is positive, empowering, transparent, and authentic. It's built on the foundation of strength. It's a place of hope, resilience, inspiration, innovation, and the spirit of its people. Together, your presence means we are not only shaping the narrative, but creating this space that moves us into the future. When one rises, we all arise. So look ahead during our time together. Let's continue to foster alignment and celebrate transformative vision that elevates Africa, brings to the world. Let us continue to power Africa together, one story, one solution, one partnership at a time. This is the Africa we see, an Africa brimming with potential, a continent with future shaped by its people, for its people, and shared with the world. From Atlanta to Abuja, we're glad you're here. And God bless you. God bless Abuja. Elevate Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Representative Kim Schofield. One more time as she takes her seat, a round of applause for her, please. Many are called, few are chosen. And like she said, you are one of the chosen ones. And so together, can we say, I am chosen? No, you need to say it so you really believe it. And then when we go out there, we know that we become ambassadors of Elevate Africa. I am chosen. I have a responsibility. Okay, I'll come back to Nigeria now because my accent is about to move to the United States of America following her speech. Thank you so much, ma'am. And next to give us a goodwill speech, Her Majesty had spoken about her when she was speaking, a dear friend of the House and a former president of the Republic of Kosovo, Her Excellency Atifete Yaga. A round of applause, please, as she comes on stage. Can we please give her a good round of applause? A good welcome.
Nabora lang sana boydo. Nabora lang kundara.
Una, good morning, O. You did well. Well, Your Royal Majesty, King Ogiame Atuatse III, Your Royal Majesty, Queen Olori Atuatse III, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Olorunmi Tinubu, dear Elevate Africa team, esteemed guests, dear ladies and gentlemen. It is truly a special moment to be here with you all today in the heart of Abuja, surrounded by its warmth, generous, and wonderful people. Being here takes me back to 3 years ago when I was on a special mission with NDI monitoring the process of passing the gender bill, a constitutional amendment that marked an important step towards gender equality in Nigeria. Every time I return, I see more positive changes and fills me with hope for the future of this country. So, my dear friends, when I first learned about Elevate Africa, I was struck by its mission, an initiative which is reshaping the way the world sees Africa, using the power of media to tell the stories of the African people. It showcases Africa's rich history, its culture, and the incredible homegrown solutions that are helping build a brighter future for the younger generations. I'm well aware of the dominant stereotypes that often define Africa in the global narrative: poverty, conflict, and underdevelopment. But let me tell you how I see Africa through my eyes. I see a continent rich in culture, diversity, and creativity, where communities are resilient, innovative, and deeply connected to their roots. I see young people driving change, entrepreneurs building solutions to local challenges, and a wealth of natural beauty that is second to none. Africa, to me, it is not defined by its struggles, but by its incredible potential, its spirit of unity, and its boundless hope for the future. The resilience of the Nigerian people, their kindness, and their deep connection to their heritage stand out as some of the many things that make this country so special. Which is why it resonates so much with my own people in Kosovo and the joint values we share. Kosovo remains unrecognized as a state by many countries in the world. However, I use distinguished platforms such as this one to raise awareness and talk about my own people in order to deconstruct the narratives dominating in the political, economic, and the social sphere. My country and its people deserve recognition, all levels. My dear friends, we all know that there is still a lot of work to be done. There are far too many misconceptions and stereotypes about Africa, and they continue to dominate the narrative similar to my own country, Kosovo. But it's a time to change that. It's time for the world to see Africa and countries in the global south for what they really are, places of innovation, strength, and place of hope. Platforms of discussion and exchange, such as this one, are crucial to dismantling these incorrect facts about the Africa. In this spirit, I would like to pay a special thanks to His Royal Majesty Ogiame Atuase III and Her Royal Majesty, my dear friend Olore Atuase III, for their visionary efforts. As leaders of this country, they exemplify the kind of transformational leadership Africa needs. They are not just leading their people, but helping to shape a new narrative for Africa, one where Africans are seen for who they really are. Which brings me to my next point, my dear audience members, the importance of leadership and effective governance. I understand what it means to inherit a country that is often marginalized in international discourse, weighed down by stereotypes and misconceptions. A country scarred by war, historically oppressed, and where the voices of its people, especially youth and women, have been silenced or overlooked. Yet, beneath these layers of pain and misunderstanding lies the story of the resilience, of strength, and hope. It is a story of communities rebuilding, of women rising despite being left on the margins, and of a nation's determination to redefine its narrative and reclaim its rightful place at the global stage. I would like, my dear friends, to share my personal journey as the first elected woman president of Kosovo, the youngest and the only one in the region at the time. A curse and a blessing, some would say. After completing my education in a parallel system, a consequence of the Serbian regime closure of the Albanian schools, I was determined to contribute to the rebuilding of my country after a devastating war. A war left families shattered, people missing, countless women and men subjected to the horrific violence, and hundreds and thousands displaced from their homes. I began my journey in the public service by joining the security forces, an institution in which people had lost trust and where women faced significant stigma. Through the hard work and dedication, I slowly climbed the institutional ladder, eventually leading the institution at a very young age. I managed to receive the position of the 5-star general, quite something for a 30 years old woman. I thought I would retire from the Kosovo police. I did retire, but at a young age and only to receive an even more burdensome duty, that of the President of the Republic of Kosovo. My commitment to integrity and transparency made me a strong candidate for the presidency during the political crisis of 2011. In the first round of voting, I was in support of all political parties, despite not belonging to any of them. I thought the biggest challenge, my dear friends, would be gaining the acceptance of all political functions and fractions. But little did I know, the real tests were just to begin for me. As a young person, I was constantly underestimated. My abilities questioned simply because of my age. Many couldn't fathom that someone so young could take on such a significant role in shaping the future of our country. There were whispers about my lack of experience and the unspoken expectation that I should